What? Okay. All right. NFL Blackout. Okay. Yes, I'm participating in the NFL Blackout. I got 2 points that I want to talk about in regards to the NFL Blackout. Some of you are going to agree with me, and some of you are not going to agree with me. My purpose of creating this video is to convince some of you, or at least just be open to what I'm going to say. However, I do have to give my personal opinion about this. I find it rather odd. Well, let me say this. I believe that the NFL players kneeling, the NFL players sitting down during the national anthem, I believe that is where it should start. I believe they started a good thing. However, I think the most powerful thing for these NFL players to do is to not play at all. Because the NFL is such a big business, and it's worth billions of dollars and it has big influence, I believe that the most powerful thing that the NFL players could do is not play at all. Now that I just said that and I got that out the way, now let's talk about two things. Two things I want to bring to everybody's attention is that if you're down for equality, and if you personally feel that something is not right as far as the way black people are being treated, I want to bring two things to your attention. The first thing is, nothing has worked thus far. Now, let's all agree, because everybody's coming to me like, yo, there's other ways that you can exercise your rights and bring about awareness as opposed to not watching any NFL games. That's true. But I think that a lot of people who aren't supporting the NFL Blackout, I believe it's for selfish reasons and lack of discipline. Like, if you can't, like, some people are so caught up into the NFL that they're like, no, I can't imagine what it's going to look like if I don't watch any NFL games or pay attention to what the NFL is doing. So that's true. You're stuck in your ways, and it's just like changing your eating habits, right? Some people want to get rid of the meat, but they don't know how they're going to do it, so therefore they continuously eat the meat, and they make excuses for why they're not going to change their eating habits. So that's how I feel about those people who still watch the NFL. So my first point, follow me through. Nothing has changed as far as black people being treated fairly. Black people, I'm one of them, we're not asking to be treated on a pedestal or get better treatment. We're just trying to get to ground zero, which is equality. So, like I said, nothing has changed thus far. Nothing is working thus far. That's first thing. Now here's the second point, and then I'm going to get out of here. The second thing is there's power in numbers. So remember what I already said, so don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I started this video saying that I believe that the most powerful thing that will create change is by these NFL players not playing at all. Like, go out to the game, but just don't play. Like, and forget kneeling and standing and sitting down. Forget all of that. Like, this Sunday, nobody plays. We go out, everybody buys their ticket, but nobody plays. They just stay there and nobody plays the game. That would be dope. And you keep doing that. Monday, you do it Thursday, and you do it Sunday. You do it every week until change happens. That's the most powerful way. Now, remember I said I had 2 points. One is that nothing has worked thus far. So if nothing has worked thus far and you're down for black equality, why wouldn't you try something different? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, listen, black people are being treated unfairly. That's not new news. In fact, if you turn on the news right now, there's somebody that's black that's being treated unfairly right now. So I'm not giving you nothing new. Nothing has worked. Nothing is working thus far. So if you're down for black equality and there is a movement going on, it only makes sense to at least support it. Now, here's the second thing. And this is going to take me a minute to explain, so bear with me. Okay. The second point that I wanted to bring about, which is why I'm supporting the NFL blackout. And y'all can say whatever you want to say. Listen, I'm still a New York Football Giants fan. I still want the Giants to win the Super Bowl, but I'm just not subscribing to the NFL right now because of this second reason. The second reason is that there's power in numbers. It's as simple as that. Now, if you have to watch the NFL, right? If you have to watch the NFL, guess what? That's just what you have to do. But don't try to say that you can't do anything to bring about change in our society. Like, this is a movement that's really big. I mean, Colin Kaepernick started it. Y'all just saw what happened to Michael Bennett a couple weeks ago, right? Michael Bennett, something big happened. Now, here's what you have to pay attention to. And why I'm saying we need to all support this NFL blackout. Because of this reason and this reason only. When Colin Kaepernick took his kneel, when he first started to kneel all the way until right now, the commissioner, Roger Goodell, has not addressed his name at all. He's saying that it's okay for people to exercise their rights, but he didn't say their name. They didn't never say Colin Kaepernick's name specifically when he addressed the issue of people kneeling and sitting. Now, what can we take from that? Well, what we can take from is what Michael Bennett, right? Michael Bennett, go do your Googling and what you got to do. Michael Bennett, his name was addressed. Y'all saw what happened to him after the McGregor and Mayweather fight, right? He was pinned down, right? There was a shooting that happened. He had nothing to do with it. He was pinned down and guns was pointed to him. And now the difference between Michael Bennett and Colin Kaepernick is that Michael Bennett is a more elite player. So Roger Goodell, his hand was forced. He had to address that issue, right? But he also said his name specifically. He said Michael Bennett shouldn't be treated this way. So I want to bring that to you guys' attention. I'm supporting the NFL blackout because there's progress. It's almost like jumping on a bandwagon, like what Kevin Durant did to the Golden State Warriors. He jumped on the bandwagon. So we didn't support Colin Kaepernick when he was kneeling and when he was standing and all of that stuff, right? But if you're down for black equality and people being treated fairly across the United States, hop on the bandwagon right now. And all we're asking you to do is not watch all we're asking you to do is not watch other people work. Just for a short period of time. Because we all know when we're watching sports, all we're doing is we're watching other people work. That's all we're asking you to do. Stop watching people work on a Sunday, a Thursday, and a Monday. Just stop doing it. There's power in numbers. Jump on the bandwagon of this NFL blackout. It's not going to be that difficult. I'm telling you, it's not that difficult. Watch a TV show, watch a movie, and just be a part of something bigger than yourself is what I'm trying to tell you. There's power in numbers. Jump on the bandwagon. I'm down with it. If you're down with it, let me know if you're down with it. And don't be afraid to do it. Yes, it's going to be difficult. But I'm telling you, this is progress. You talking about Martin Luther King would be very proud to see us doing something as small as this, guys. Don't watch football. Just don't watch it. You see what I'm saying? There's power in numbers and they're paying attention. The powers that be are paying attention to this NFL blackout. And guess what? The more people that don't watch football, remember what I said, the biggest thing would happen is that the NFL players don't play. They go out to the games, but they just refuse to play. You know the way that's going to happen? The only way that's going to happen is by the NFL players, us standing behind the NFL players and watching the numbers go down. When the viewers go down, the NFL players will feel more support. Right? Therefore, they will be more challenged to not play. And that's what we essentially want, is for these NFL players to not play the game at all. But they need us to. We got to meet them halfway. And if it means that we can't watch and we discipline ourselves enough to not watch the games, what if that was your part in creating black equality? Like, we all play a part. Like, imagine us being a part of something. Martin Luther King's dream never came true to this day. But imagine if we have the power now, because of social media, we have the power now to create equality. And it may happen by this NFL blackout. Don't talk to me about what's going on in the NFL until we start to get some noticeable progress for black people. I don't care if I was black. Remember Hawk Newsom, he said, white silence equals violence. Whether you agree with that or not, what I'm trying to tell you is everybody plays a part in this. You're telling me, you're making up excuses and reasons to why you don't support the NFL blackout. But it's all stems from your obsession with watching it. You're obsessed with watching it, and you're putting your obsession over equality. There is a movement going on that you don't have to march. You don't have to hurt nobody. You don't have to riot. All you have to simply do is not watch a specific sport for a period of time. I'm telling you, change will come. Spread the word, get other people involved in not watching NFL. Y'all want to argue and debate? Stop arguing and debating about your haters. Start arguing and debating about why your friends aren't participating in this NFL blackout. Because what you'll find through arguing and debating your friends, through not participating through this opportunity for us to create equality and get some progress going, what you'll find is your friends have an obsession with a sport, and they're putting their obsession over being a part of something that can create change. I challenge you, and listen, if you want to debate, the only reasons that I keep hearing from people about why they're not participating in this NFL blackout is, what is it going to do? Right? What is it going to do? Well, I got a question. I'm questioning, when people don't want to participate in this, I'm really questioning their priorities. Like, how high are how much do you really want equality? You see what's happening. Like, we see what's happening. I could get really political and get really deep with you guys. I could bring up, things, prophecies from individuals like Malcolm X. You go back and watch some of the clips from Malcolm X. I'm talking about the new Malcolm X, the Malcolm X that changed once he went to Africa. Malcolm X, completely different dude. When he was following the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and then when he switched, remember he went to Africa and his whole philosophy, everything really was the same, but he had a little shift in his thinking. And one of the things that Malcolm X said in one of his speeches was, go Google it. Go YouTube when Malcolm X was talking about the meetings with coffee and how people in positions of power, specifically white people in positions of power, once they get in their positions of power, they invite the most powerful and influential black leaders to a dinner, to sit down with coffee, right? And they entice them with just a little bit of, hey, you want to hang us? Because look, our black leaders connect. When we have black leaders, a lot of our black leaders will do anything to be in position with these white leaders. Now, that's fine and cool, but when we're talking about creating equality, we have to look at what leaders like a Malcolm X was talking about, because did or did not, everything Malcolm X said in that speech, go Google and YouTube when Malcolm X is talking about how white leaders offer black leaders an opportunity to sit down with coffee. And tell me that everything that he said there, because look, remember when Donald Trump first got elected? You remember that, right? I'm not making this stuff up. And this is all about the NFL blackout. I'm challenging all of my friends to not watch football. But go back and watch that, right? Remember when Donald Trump first became president, what was the first thing that he did? He invited people to coffee. Jim Brown, a lot of people we wouldn't even think would actually do that. I mean, Steve Harvey, Ray Lewis, Kanye West. I mean, the list goes on and on. There was a lot of people who he invited so he can look more powerful. He took the black powerful leaders and he positioned himself just like what Malcolm X was talking about 50, 60 years ago. So if we can't rely on our black leaders, who can we rely on? We can only rely on ourselves. And I'm telling you, you can be bigger as far as your dignity, as far as your contribution to creating this progress. You could do that by simply not watching the NFL. There's a movement going on, and if you don't want to stand behind it, I'm questioning your priorities. I've never ran away from a debate or a conversation. If you're against everything that I'm talking about and what I'm challenging you to do, if you're against it, let's talk about it like some educated adults. I will talk to you publicly or I will talk to you privately. But I'm 99.9% sure under all of the reasons you'll tell me you're not going to support the NFL blackout is for all of your selfish reasons. And you're putting your obsession over what the bigger picture is. In closing, I want you guys to think, I'm going to give you something to think about. Obviously, I want you to go back, do your history of what's going on, because all we're doing is repeating history right now. That's why I had to jump on board this. Like I said before, I'm a big Giants fan. Odell Beckham, you know what I'm saying? Eli Manning. I want the Giants to win the Super Bowl. I do. It's either got to be this year, it's got to be next year. But am I willing to sacrifice watching other people work for an opportunity to be a part of something that will change the course of all of our lives? I'm not going to be selfish. Can't be selfish. It's the NFL blackout. If you're not down with it, then I'm not down with you. Like, it's that simple. Like, I'm down with you. Like, I respect you as a human being, because for me, not to respect you as a human being is something different. But I'm trying to tell you, you can't talk about you want equality for all people and not stand behind such a simple movement. I mean, this thing is simple. This NFL blackout is a lot simpler than the Black Lives Matter movement. I mean, Black Lives Matter, look, you got to put your hand up and you got to say Black Lives Matter. And that's a challenge for some people in itself. What I'm trying to tell you is this NFL blackout, it's as simple as not turning it on, not following it, not watching. I'm telling you, when you watching SportsCenter, ESPN, even if you're on your Instagram, don't like nothing that has to do with football. Don't like it. Just don't like it. They're going to see the numbers go down. And as the numbers go down, guess what's going to happen? The NFL players, they're going to notice a change. And they're going to feel more confident to not play. And once the NFL players don't play, like literally don't play in the game, that's going to move us forward. All of my white friends, all of my Asian friends, all of my friends from other races, Native Americans, all of them, they want equality. You want to be politically correct? Do the right thing. It's very simple. This is one of the simplest movements. I remember I had to go to the Million Man March. I didn't have to, but I was invited to go to the Million Man March when I was a teenager. I mean, that required us driving, even though I wasn't driving, one of my friends' parents drove us, but that required getting ready, that required getting in the car, that required going to all those hundreds of thousands, millions of people, and being around, that required effort. This movement is so powerful. There's so much money driven. You know why equality is so difficult right now? It's because it is. It's that dollar bill. It's that money. Just turn it off. Don't, like I said, social media, don't like it. When you watch SportsCenter, watch SportsCenter. But as soon as the football comes on, turn it off. Change the channel. That's what I'm doing, and I challenge everybody else to do the same. Listen, if I'm wrong and this NFL blackout doesn't work, that's cool. It won't be like anything else. We put that, listen, if this doesn't work, we put it in the same category of what Martin Luther King died for all those years. That I have a dream. Because truth is, and people hate when I say it, but Martin Luther King's dream still has not came true. So if this NFL blackout doesn't work, we'll put it in the same category as the I have a dream speech. But one thing that Martin Luther King Jr. did not have during that movement was so many people behind him. He didn't have social media, right? He didn't have all of the black leaders that we have now. There wasn't a lot of white leaders like the leaders we have now that are standing behind this NFL blackout. We got white players right now supporting this NFL blackout. We've never been so close. All we need is us, the people, to stand behind it. And like I said, if it doesn't work, it won't be nothing new. But the difference you can say is that you were able to play a part. This your boy, Billionaire Brown. You could check it out. YouTube.com/Billionaire Brown online. You guys know you could catch me at BillionaireBrownOnline.com. Stay away from the NFL football. Watch college football if you need to. Watch boxing. Watch tennis. Shout out to Sloane Stevens, crushing the game right now in tennis. She's inspiring me to want to play again. We're just looking for equality, guys. That's it. All right? And if you're struggling with, should I watch football? Should I not? Just think about it at the end of the day. Listen, when you're watching any sport, you're essentially you're watching people work. Now just think of how silly that sounds. If someone, like, imagine if you were watching somebody work at their job. They're getting paid for people to watch them work. And all I'm asking you to do right now for the next, until we get through this, until we get some progress, all I'm asking you to do is not watch NFL players work. Peace. Literally.